And according to YouTube, I am live. Hello, one and all. Welcome to week number 6 of Bed To Brawn. As we continue this journey, I do not get stronger. I only get weaker and more run down. The irony of that, but that doesn't mean we stop trying or give up. So this week is, or this day is leg day. You never skip leg day. Legs are super important for me. Got all sorts of problems around the low back and what I'll call the girdle region. So this area here and the glutes and thighs and stuff, that's all the quads. It's all what you need to strengthen. And Tommy So 9039, hello to you as well, and congratulations on being first today. So today, the reason I'm doing leg day instead of just regular day is I am scheduled for a blood draw this afternoon. And one thing you don't want to do is do a blood draw and then an arm workout. And it's almost as bad to do an arm workout and then give blood. I need to keep my little arms in relatively good condition. And unfortunately, I don't just do like a lot of you guys do your day like checkup and you get like the little the one vial or whatever for your blood panel. I have to get drawn 14. I'm a guinea pig. They are going to take out 14 vials of blood, a little bit smaller than this, so something kind of like a 12-pack of remotes are coming out of me this afternoon. So instead of working my arms a whole lot, which we will do a little bit because you have to for activations and stuff, I will instead be focusing on stretching and legs today. Going to do a slightly lighter day and kind of focus more from here down for the most part. I see we have 23 viewers in the chat. Welcome one and all, but only one person has bothered to speak up and say hi during this time. What I'm going to do is I'm going to move to my stretching. This is like my favorite trick here is when I want to take a slower day, when I feel like I'm getting too tired. Let me see if I can, what does this cam look like? Brandon Gray, good to see you. Hey, Drifter. You have been a massive inspiration to me throughout the past decade that I've been watching you. Very glad to see that your health has been improving over the last few months. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that. And it's odd. It's mostly improving, but it's odd. There's still so many just strange things going on. Actonation, welcome, welcome. I should play my little retro wave music. I'm trying to get the chat open so that I can see it more easily while stretching. Come on. There we go. Come on. Come on. I cannot click my own videos. Hello? I'm trying to put the chat somewhere. There we go. All right. Now I have a chat I can actually read. Hello, Actonation. Welcome, welcome. All right, so now that I can read the chat, glad you resistance training, so many benefits, fun hobby. I agree. I completely agree. And I think one thing I need to do is probably, for the next segment, I shall angle down the little camera down here. Kind of on my hands and knees right now. No puns intended. Actually, there's an easier way to do this. I think I can just... I'm a genius! I am a genius! Is the smartest man in this house? There we go, that's pretty good. Joshua Meter says, hey man, can't wait to see your July 4th video. Thank you very much, I appreciate that. Let me go get into position for some little wimpy stretches. So many comments coming on. Christian says they passed out from donating blood because they were fasting. And Guapo says, I loved watching your videos as a youngin'. It's good to see you working on your health. Thank you. I think I'm doing this almost as like a sort of stubborn proof, if you will, that I am trying with my health. Unfortunately, a huge number of people are of the belief that I am faking my health problems, and I just, honestly, I hope they're right. I hope that I have completely driven myself crazy. I am the world's biggest fraud and liar, and that all I need is a couple of therapy appointments to not feel this god dang awful pain anymore. You guys are getting a great view of the turkey thighs here. So my quandary is with the low back, I can roll my shoulders out, and I can roll kind of like thoracic spine, But when it comes to lower back, it can't support weight, so I can't actually roll those regions without risk of injury, which is no good. Steel 9-3, hello. Good Lord, you know, I would have said my legs look normal, but I have like the skinny cankles. Like when you see them on camera, didn't used to be that. I used to have those like really defined calves with like that thick ridge and stuff, but years of illness have robbed me of such things. So now I have the skinny cankles. And hopefully I still have enough steam after this is done to go get my blood drawn. Erknes says, good morning, Pookie. All right, Erknes. Good morning to you too. And now we roll our rump. And again, guys, I'm aware that there are other regions of my body that can be rolled that I am not rolling. There are just certain parts of me that do not bear weight very well, so we have to be a little bit careful about that. So how many of you here saw my post about the upcoming July 4th content? Because that's not going to get pushed to algorithms. It's probably going to get demonetized, and I'm going to have to depend on you guys and word of mouth to kind of give it that initial boost in the algorithm. So, how many of you saw the post? Be honest with me. Let's see, what am I doing? I'm going to give you guys a premium look at the bald spot, I think, here. I think I got to roll these front parts of the legs. You guys are probably seeing some skin and some hair regions that were never meant to be exposed to the camera. And I'm gonna do all this today, then I'll eat some lunch, and then this afternoon, probably after like an hour of rest, I'm gonna go let the vampires at Quest Diagnostics take my blood. Brandon Gray says, I did not. Oh no, see? That dadgum algorithm again. Well, would anybody in the chat like to inform Brandon Gray about what he is almost missing out on? If you guys know. Okay, we're gonna continue to do some stretches here on the floor. Then we're gonna do the treadmill. Then it's mostly just gonna be kind of squats and planks today. Very basic, even lighter than last time. You know, I started the series with the intention of like doing more every time and like getting stronger and better, and we're kind of got the opposite going on. Hey, appreciate the advice on push-ups. Unfortunately, I am medically barred from doing push-ups. Let's just say that my last checkup wasn't great, which is why I'm having to give blood today. But I have been, I'll make a sad dramatic health video when I figure out all the details. But for the time being, I have been medically restricted from a lot of things, like a whole lot of things. Annoyingly, that also includes that gun range video. I should not have done that. I got medically barred from firearms for the time being, so we'll see how that works. Oh, that is so stiff. Come on, Brad, move your big turkey thighs up. Wait a minute. Oh, it detected my workout. Good. Ah! Boy. So when you got a bad low back, you can't have tight hamstrings. That's bad. So we gotta loosen those hamstrings. I gotta see what my smartwatch is doing here. Okay, man, it did pretty smart. It kind of knew. Can't see. Hey, Proc Prime, good to see you. Proc, we've been missing each other on the finals. I feel like every time I hit you up is just like the worst time. You still down to play some rounds of that game? I'm kind of doing it more and more now. It's like an addiction that I can't give up. Oh, there we go. That's a hamstring. Now let's stretch these back. I feel like I'm almost like, I'm just some slightly shorter shorts away from being on Pornhub here. Okay. Ah, there we go. Fudge. Now we just hold for a bit. So fun. Maybe a little more. Oh, God. Hi-ho. That's enough. So fun. So fun. What's going on in the chat? Hey, Fo Informed, good to see you. And yeah, Brandon Gray, the in-depth IRL thing. I really hope that does well. I've had a hard time getting sort of consistent, what's the right word? Reach, engagement, algorithm push through on the channel, especially branching out into non-Call of Duty content. I feel like it's less likely to push through. And this isn't a complaint to any of you here. I appreciate all of you. But these workout streams, obviously they don't perform as well as gaming videos, right? And that's a problem, because every time I do one of these, it seems to lower the overall like algorithmic push through of the channel. So I'm trying to figure out a way to do this differently or better. I've been kind of leaning toward moving this series to Twitch because it seems to kind of hurt me on YouTube, but I could be wrong. We're going to keep doing it for a little bit. But anyway, the point being that it's really hard to get that sort of sub push through if you're doing alternative content. And that's going to be firearms content. Firearms content that is right there at the very edge of monetization, and the members only version will have all the full auto stuff that you can't really post anywhere else. My God, I'm looking skinny here. Looking skinny Bobini. We do have some new finals content for you coming out tomorrow. For those of you that are channel members, you can watch the next video about the finals early. Okay. And now we just grab this knee. I'm gonna pull it back in up here. Cannot see anything going on in the chat, so give me a moment. Oh. Ooh. I'm on. Oh, it doesn't look like much. But you're kind of trying to kiss your knee. So I'm trying to pull this knee up into my chest. And I know it doesn't go very far. There we go. Ooh, look at this down here. I shouldn't do that. I'm gonna strike. There's plenty of bum on display. Okay, let's do phone. Rock says, yeah, bad timing. No worries. Phone Inform says, I think you should do this in a hot tub and a bikini for ease of use, like the Twitch tactic. See, I think that too. You guys have no idea how down I am for like a really absolutely ultra shameless like parody stream where I mean I did the Gamer Boy bathwater a while back. I'm sure Proc remembers that one because she cropped my feet to make a Discord emoji. But I'd love to go full parody, man. I'll wear like a little micro-kini. I'll just make it like, I'll have like my wife like join, also in like a micro-kini, and I'll play like sound effects where everybody boos, and it's like, no, no women, ew, no women, we kick her off. All right, I'm gonna look at the chat here. Verbose Toast, good to see you. You know, there is options to not push the notifications for Verbose Toast. I've had that recommended to me. I talked to a YouTube partner manager, and they said that one of the ways to transition a channel or to attract a new audience is to do streams or videos without pushing notifications, so that it hurts your channel less. The only downside is if I don't do that, literally nobody will be here. And I have actually uploaded videos without pushing notifications, and they get like 12 total views. 2 of them are probably me just checking on the video. So if I did that, the downside would be that this stream would have to be at a fixed time so that you would all know when to show up. Or I can't shout it out on X because my X account is primarily another video content account. Oh, so much stuff going on there that it would be really difficult to get out a meaningful message. The other thing, so respectfully, I don't want to stream with no push-throughs where nobody shows up. That's not a good look. Not really worth your time. Kind of trying to build something. So my idea with this one pushing through to the main channel is that eventually, week after week, workout after workout, amazing and engaging conversation after conversation, that the audience will build. I haven't really seen that building yet. work on it. The issue here is not, I don't want you guys to think that this is like I'm complaining about viewership. I'm not. I'm just glad to do this. What I'm complaining about is that doing this seems to hurt the videos that I publish. I don't know why people don't want to just see this thickness moving here. This isn't the most like attractive thing. No, I'm being silly. That's what a workout looks like. You got to do them, like them or not. These back openers. I love that I can do these, like, right? Like, I can do these back openers. I cannot take a nap on my side to save my life. This is very annoying. That back is pretty open. So much going on here in the chat. Okay. Yeah, verbose toast, you're not wrong. It's just tricky. It's tricky. Erknia says, I don't have any notification for any app. Yeah, but what they're talking about isn't the notification. It's like what you get on the home page, like when you log in, and you like the 12 videos that pop up. If one of mine is this stream, and you didn't subscribe to me for, you know, workout tips and tricks, and you're not here for the vlog or whatever, then it's actually bad because, as they say, a few thousand people will see that thumbnail and say, I don't want to watch this pasty white man roll around on the floor this afternoon. I got better stuff to watch on Pornhub. Well, in that case, it just kind of hurts me. So I got to figure something out. I could do these members only. I don't know. I'm not sure if I have enough goods on display to encourage people to pay $5 a month just to watch my pasty thickness over here. Hey, Andre, glad that you were also able to finish a nice workout today. Oh, God. I also think I do these like way too early in the day. I think it would be like tactically smarter if I did them later. The problem is that I'm not tactically useful in the afternoon. I'm kind of like useful for the first couple hours. I get up and then I fall apart so hard. So hard. I agree with you, Verbose Toast. You're doing it right. I'll do freaking yoked. No, I'm a long way from that. I did Bed To Brawn just because it's alliterative, it rhymes, and that's really important for human psychology. But the actual goal is not particularly brawn. The goal of all of this is normal. I want to be able to do things like shop at 2 stores in a day instead of 1, or go to a movie theater, take a nap on my side, sit in my chair long enough to play a game of Apex Legends, you know, or the finals, or Counter-Strike, or something. Thank you, Mark Glazer. I appreciate it. The dude KCB. White. Yeah, so apparently I say that wrong. I grew up here in Texas, and I was taught in elementary school that you pronounce all the letters. So the word white, as you can hear, I say the white. I was taught WH is a wha, like a whoo, a whoosh, and not a wa. Like a lot of people say what, white, win, and I say what, white, win with the H's. So So these are not super intense movements. These are just sort of activate your shoulders, get some blood flowing up here, keep it going, keep it nice and happy. Pretty basic stuff. All right. Bed to Mr. Olympia. Not quite full in form, but we can hope. All right, now we got to do these like neck stretches, so I'll turn so you can see. So the idea here is you roll your chin down. Feel it all in here. It's not an intense stretch. It does work though. It's actually pretty loose. Has anyone ever switched from a gaming chair to an ergo chair? I got a Herman Miller Embody, and after 10 years of racing style chairs, I'm hurting myself in the better chair. I just sit wrong. Trust me, you're gonna be way happier with the Herman Miller. There's a learning curve, there's an adjustment phase. You know, there's settings to, you know, max min and get used to, but I'm telling you 1,000,000% that Herman Miller Embody is gonna last longer. And even if you, like, it's better for your spine, even if you're used to sitting wrong and it doesn't feel comfortable now, it will save you 10 years from now. It's very important, okay? Verbose Toast, that is the best advice I can give today, is that I wish I had not spent so many years sitting in cheap DX Racer bucket seats. There we go. All right, everybody. So now what I need to do is I need to activate the treadmill cam. So I'll be back in just a moment, but you can hear me as I walk down my incredibly long hallway across my huge, enormous, and awesome McMansion in Texas. Turn some lights on. Let's go ahead and see. Here's the camera. Let's get the camera turned on. Thank you. Camera will take a few seconds to connect to the Wi-Fi and begin outputting NDI plus video signal. And I have returned. Verbose Toast, you can, Rimo, good to see you. Verbose Toast, it can get worse than scoliosis, trust me. Scoliosis isn't great. I'm not here to downplay your problems, but I am here to tell you if you don't take care of yourself, it can get much worse than just scoliosis. There we go. All right, treadmill cam is active. I am going to mute my mic and go use the treadmill cam, and I'll be back in just a moment. It's going to take me probably about 15-20 seconds to walk over there. Okay, we are back. Kind of get my phone hooked in. Rimo says, I'm gonna do a setup upgrade soon. What do y'all recommend for a chair? Herman Miller Embody. That's what you want for a chair, is Herman Miller Embody. The Herman Miller, there's another one. The Herman Miller Aeron is a little bit cheaper. It's not quite as premium of a line, but some people like it better than the Embody. For example, my wife has an Aeron chair, and of course I use it sometimes. It's very, very nice. The Embody is very nice. Logitech G makes a couple of chairs. There's one, I don't want to move the camera too much, but actually I can't point the camera at that chair because that chair has a gun in it. Whoopsies. But there's also a different, more Logitech exclusive chair. Hold on, let me put the gun back in the box. It'll be okay, it'll be okay, it'll be okay. There's another, I forgot what the name of it is, but there's another Logitech G chair that's really good. J-Hub would know this because he helped me build it. But now that I'm here on the treadmill and I have nowhere to go, would any of you like to recommend a topic of conversation so that I can help keep myself sane throughout this extremely unfun exercise process? Otherwise, I'm going to start talking about my stuff, which is always going to be probably strange, theoretical, and political adjacent. So is there anything that you guys would like to talk about while I do this super cool treadmill situation, just walking, looking in the camera? It's a little bit douchey to say, but if most of you met me in real life, this is kind of the view you would get. Apparently, my sickness has made me taller. I've grown from 6'1" to 6'2", and if I put shoes on, it looks like I'm 6'4". Don't tell J-Hub that. He'll come in here with I'm 6'9", and everybody less than me is short, but he's a very tall guy. RC cars. RC cars is not something I know a whole lot about, other than that there's a huge hobby community around it. There's a huge hobby community around it here in Texas. They have little miniature racetracks for the cars. There's probably about 4 businesses that I can think of just here in the city of Plano, like Hobbytown USA and a couple of stores that sort of cater just to the RC car market. But they're starting to move to catering toward the drone market. I've noticed that, so RC cars is like a Gen X and like elder millennial hobby. But as we start moving into middle younger millennials, the Gen Z, Gen Alpha, and Gen whatever is coming next that's addicted to AI, they're actually moving toward drone piloting. So a lot of the stores here have shifted their merchandise and offerings toward drone accessories, drone piloting stuff, drone racing stuff. So that's kind of how everything's going at the moment. I do have some comments rolling in. Have you had any pure mathematics in your engineering degree or only applied? That's a good one. Engineers almost always doing applied math. Well, okay, let's talk about applied versus pure math, since that's what you guys want. What's your opinion on the fiber optic drones? You know, I saw those Erkneys. I didn't get a chance to research them quite enough to understand or have an opinion. Hey, Hero Garrett, congratulations on starting your job, man. But we did have a question about applied math. So as an engineer, you are educated in, I'd say you get kind of like the standard college crash course in the most relevant fields of mathematics. So for me, that was of course trigonometry, geometry, calculus of trig and geometry, a lot of physics stuff. Then we get a little bit of what you can call, what was it? Linear equations, which is matrix math primarily. And then I did differential equations. I didn't really learn anything in my differential equations class because my professor was like Chinese, but like fresh off the boat Chinese, so he spoke incomprehensible English. And I just had to try to learn from the textbook, and that was really rough. I did manage to pass the class, though I didn't really learn a lot. I had to learn about differential equations through their applications in engineering. Seeing how they were used there helped me understand them more than what I got in class. And I've had crash courses in other types of math, like iterative functions and like partial differentials, and it's not really a different type of math, but you know, mechanical engineers like me, we would do block programming. We'd use MathCAD or something to draw simple like flow diagram blocks to sort of brute force certain calculations if you don't need particularly sophisticated results. Yeah, we are old now, Ransom. I'm definitely on Unk mode. I did a big Unk last night. I've been telling people I'm crashing out. I thought that just meant I'm so tired I like hit the bed like in Cyberpunk and just fully crash out, but apparently what that means is you get mad and have a meltdown. So I've just been telling people I've been having meltdowns, which is great. Did a big Unk right there. So I took these classes, you know, like I took Cal 4 and I took differential equations, which is like a 3000 level math class, and the professors teach them from the standpoint of mathematical purity, but with the understanding, because it was a, I went to Mississippi State, which is a big engineering school, but it's with the understanding that 99% of the students are using this for engineering. I will say there wasn't a lot of pure math in chemistry, but I had my crash course in chemistry where I probably got the most pure math outside of math class was probably physics class. I took 3 physics classes, 1, 2, 3. The first one was primarily kinematics. The second one was primarily like, is it electrodynamics? What's the right word? Electricity, magnetism, flux through a field, things like that. And then the final physics class I took was a little bit of a continuation of these sort of fields and energies. And then we moved into like nuclear and quantum and just got kind of crash coursed on everything the professor thought that could ever be useful to an engineer. Now the math problems that we worked for those particular classes, some of them, they may have looked applied, but our professor liked sort of generic solutions with formulas only. They didn't care about crunching numbers. So we would get something like, they'd hand they would describe an object, and we'll just say it's like diamond shaped, like three-dimensionally, you know, it's like a diamond, pointy at the top and bottom, fat on the ends. And this diamond is going to pass through a magnetic field with a certain rating applied to it. I forget even the units, this has been like 15 years ago. And that it was going to rotate. So we have this three-dimensional object moving through space and rotating as it passes through a strong gravitational field. And then they told me the object is made out of some material or has some charge or something. And as it does this whole process, we want you to find the formula to calculate the instantaneous amount of flux on the object as it passes through the field, or maybe like the total flux or something like that. And the solution we had to provide wasn't a number like 42. It was like this big fat equation of like how to grab that value at any given time. So I did do some, I would say, more applied mathematics. I don't know, kind of in between. That's not a truly abstract question. That's something that, you know, does come up in real life and in engineering sometimes. But Physics 2 is electricity and magnetism. If anything, it's like LSU. Yep, that's exactly what it was, electromagnetism. You guys are correct. Glad you love differential equations. I had my two weakest areas of my mathematical education are linear algebra and differential equations. So for the differential equations, I had a professor that could just, for the most part, not English. And it was just read the textbook and figure it out. So I didn't do a lot of great learning there. The second one, I got a professor that, I kid you not, was 95 years old, and you would think that would mean that they're slow. This woman was so energetic and she talked so fast, but she did not believe in homework or example problems or follow-up questions. She would go, I kid you not, for linear algebra up to the board and write a paragraph on the wall, something like, for all equations inside the subset blah blah blah, their eigenvalues can be blah 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 transformed to form a vector to calculate, but just kind of write that out like orally. No symbols, no examples, no problems to work. Just this giant paragraph on the board about eigenvalues, and they'd be like, all right, class is over. If you can't figure it out, you're stupid. Goodbye. Well, I couldn't figure it out. I got a big fat F. I had to retake the class. Second teacher was a lot more helpful. It was a summer class, so I did it in like 3 weeks. But I did get kind of a crash course in matrix equations and how they're used in linear algebra to crunch really big things. I never got particularly good at it, but I did finally understand the broad form and structure and how to integrate that into my other engineering endeavors. That woman is probably still teaching there. Pretty much all of my research was in linear algebra and partial differentials, and then you are perfectly suited to understand things that I am particularly weak at, so it's good. It's good. I am wobbling on the treadmill, should not fall. Falls are bad, falls are bad. Okay, probably getting close to being enough warm up here. Anybody got any more broader general questions? I can't even see the viewership, but I'm fairly confident when I walk back to the room, I will have scared people off by talking about topics like partial differential equations and the substitution method of integration. Oh! Yeah, Ransom says pretty much all my professors in every mathematical course, anything in, yeah, all have heavy accents and are not very good at teaching. Yeah, because they're research professors. They're not really, like, the university didn't hire them to be great professors and turn out great students. They hired them because they believe they'll crank out a whole bunch of research papers, put their names on it, make the university look good. Come on, what are we doing here? Make a bunch of money. All right, well, I'm going to actually leave this little camera on. We're gonna carry this guy. I'm going to try to not show the gun. You make sure that the gun is not super. All in one moment. Okay, the gun's put out of the way. You guys can see the other half of this room, the more junky half. This is the other Logitech G chair that I use. I wish it had its name on it. You can see the little logo down there. But I do use this one a fair bit. It's sort of my backup chair for the additional desks over here. This is sort of like where all my cameras and electronics and gun in the box, spare TVs. There's a lot of extra junk in this room. There's like one room in every house just fills up with junk, and that's this one. This one has all the junk. All right, I'm gonna set this in the hallway. Y'all are gonna need to check out my bum. I'll be back to the room. Bum, bada, bum, bada, bum, bum, bum. All right, cool. We should be back in good microphone comms now. Hero Garrick says, science is my secret pleasure. Love talking about all aspects of it. Good, good, good. You're gonna like the way this channel is gonna go in the future though. I got a video already recorded about black holes. I got some other fun topics coming up next. I'll try to do the chat GPT brain rot. I'm gonna try to do raw milk. We're gonna try to do butt breathing. Oh man. There's a bunch of them I want to do. Tricky to do though. Yeah, it's a Herman Miller X Logitech collab, you're correct. And I agree with you, Andre. Rimo says, what music have you been listening to recently? Ah, that's a good one. All right, well, I'll give my legs just a little cool down. I'm gonna use my lightest weights today just to do sort of arm and shoulder activations. I want to be very clear with all of you. This is not really a super workout. This is make sure these parts are moving, but I can't get them too sore before the blood draw. So we're just going to do very, very little stuff here. But music I've been listening to has in the last couple of months been changing kind of radically. So previously I was very much so in the retro wave genre, which is like 80s music reimagined for the future. So we're talking like Gunship, The Midnight, Tupperware Rap Party, Starship Velociraptor, some kind of things like that. Some of the stuff like that's God, what's his name? Come on, brain, Starboy, The Weeknd. Some of the stuff that The Weeknd makes is sort of retro wave adjacent. M83, stuff like that. But in the last, I'd say 2 months, I just decided to break out of my box and go exploring. So I watched a whole bunch of different music videos from a whole bunch of different artists. A lot of people, you know, like Foles and Run the Jewels and Chappelle Rowan and even stuff from Drake. Didn't really find much, but I did stumble into a genre of music that I believe is like sort of, all these genres blend together really bad, but somewhere in between EDM, house music, and dubstep, often with spoken word component, of course. Somewhere in that sort of electronic genre, more on the housey side of things, I found a whole bunch of songs I really like. Well, and probably more that I didn't, but I have found some gems there. And what I like to do is when I find a song that's sort of outside of my normal genre that I like, what I'll do is I'll load up on YouTube Music and I'll hit Discover mode and tell it to show me things like this song. I've been doing that quite a lot with sort of like house and alternative music. I think it's driving my wife crazy because our nice chill like retro wave evening music is gone and replaced with blah 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 blah. But I really like it. Yeah, Chappelle Rowan does have some bangers. I've been watching a lot, or not watching, listening to, God, I'm getting all sorts of, Nightclub. Nightclub's a great band. I feel like my shoulders are uneven. Is that just the camera or are they actually uneven? Is that the lighting? Might be the lighting. Okay, just looking weird there. That doesn't look right at all. I don't know why. So I'm just doing these. Just gonna get, I don't really do the arms a whole lot because what I need to protect is sort of that elbow joint, but the shouldies can get a little work. Shouldies have time to get a little work going on. What else have I been listening to? I don't know, I've been listening to music from Jen Cloud, Nia Wally, the Tech Thieves, a lot from Simez. If you guys have heard of Simez, a lot of their stuff. Simez and Nightclub. Hey, dudes, says, I still listen to Simez because of your recommendation when you got into Delta 8. Well, thank you, man. Thank you. Simez is amazing. Really, if there's a band that I would say, of all the stuff I'm talking about, Simez is probably the most broadly enjoyable. These, again, guys, I know baby weights. I'm just mostly moving my shoulders here. That's the whole point before we move over to squats. Just have to do a little bit more than nothing is the goal. I wish I did not have to give, this is what's been happening with the series here is, I'm in bad health, so I really kind of need a clear day to work out, because as weak as these workouts are, I'm probably weaker. So this will be mostly what I do today. Most of my uptime and energy expenditure is here. Everybody likes to schedule stuff on Monday. So it's well, you got a blood draw on the same day you got your workout. Do you cancel the workout? Do you cancel the blood draw? No, you do both. You make it work. Yeah, Summer Nights is a banger. Dudes, I don't know if you've seen it, but Alone in the Darkness is great. I absolutely love My Way. I think My Way is one of their best. I liked that one before it had a music video. The music video just made it even better. No, Simez is great. I can actually find my phone, which I believe I left in this other room. Did I really just leave my phone in here? Really? Really? I really did. It is just sitting there on the table feeling extra super brain dead. Yep, Power J, kind of on a similar train here. But you guys had questions about the music that I'm listening to, so let's see what we got. Oh yeah, we got ghost data. So I'll try to do this in a way that's even remotely visible. Hold up. Let's see if autofocus works now. There we go. So I found this little indie song called Broken. If you can see it, by Emily and Dekla. Love the lyrics. It's very, very indie, but I'm here for it. This one, Secrets Kill, by Eli Ira, has just a great sort of bit of spoken word to it. Got a little bit from the Boulay Brothers. Unfortunately, I was looking for Halloween music. The algorithm thought, okay, what you really want is drag music, which is not what I'm looking for. We got some stuff from Nia Wally. Down here we have some winners with Crash is really great, and Dangerous from the Tech Thieves. Crash from Nia Wally. Trying to hold some of this. We got some stuff from Nero, Battle Tapes, Justice. Biometrics isn't bad either. There's some stuff from Jen Cloud. There's our Simez in there, our Ghost Data. IMX down here at the bottom. Inconsistent, but I do enjoy it. All right. That's probably enough looking at my phone for today. Now I actually have to do, God, my ankles hurt so bad. And if they do, that is all the more reason to stretch them and to make them work in your favor. So we're gonna do our ankle stretches. Mortals by Wario. It's one of my new faves. Great for getting pumped at the gym. Okay, I'll keep that in mind. Try to move my little camera. You guys can see the camera that's all shaky is just the little guy here. Just this little guy. And just so long as this little guy can see the feet, that's all that matters here. So my ankles already hurt like stupidly bad. But that doesn't mean it's not a good idea to stretch them. So we're gonna stretch them. So boo-boos or not, we stretch. Oh boy. You know, it's kind of a shame. For the first time in my life, I actually wanted to see a band that came to Dallas recently. Didn't get an opportunity to. If you think about it, if you're capped at no more than 15 minutes of sitting, no more than about 20 of standing or 30 of walking, maybe you could probably go an hour walking, more realistically. We'll say an hour walking. That's not very good time for a concert. A concert is gonna be like an hour plus getting into the venue, waiting in a long line. You're gonna get one hard like stool to sit in the entire time, or standing only if the band is really hype. And I need to lay down like at least once an hour. Like when I'm done with all this streaming stuff, I'll probably go and lay down on my Tempur-Pedic mattress and just rest until my Uber lunch arrives. Be eating healthy from Uber, so I'm not just getting burgers and stuff. I do get them though, they're great. But no, I've been exploring a lot of new kinds of music, and I've been trying to figure out why I do and don't like certain things. And I don't know, I think I might be over-exploring. I think I'm creating conflict a little bit with my wife, because music time in the evening used to mean Brad plays really relaxing chill wave music, much like what you're hearing going on in the background of this video. Well, the last month or two, what that means is that about 1 a.m. Brad is going to turn on something that's just like, just all and just like very different. But I'll straight up fall asleep. I don't know what it is. If I put in earbuds or headphones and I turn on those really like dubstep-y kind of songs, I will fall asleep almost instantly. I will just be out, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what it does to my brain. I think it's all those sort of wub-wubby noises, those like vibrations, put me to sleep somehow. Ramson? I'm gonna try to, I think I'll just say Ramson for your name. It says, a long time ago, you made a video about anti-intellectualism, and every fear you listed has come to pass. At least we still got music. You know what? I'm gonna have to check that video out. I have done a hearing test. It's all normal. And Frank Zappa didn't do it for me. It was good advice, but it didn't do it for me. And yeah, Proc, I agree. Like, if she says it's irritating, I get it. I kind of agree. I know how it could be. And I do think, here's a big one for this sort of like, if I'm moving into this EDM-y, housey kind of area, I mostly do not like that music if it's going to be on, I'm potatoing. I'm gonna move this little cam here, actually, for just a moment. Head, shoulders, and knees. Anyway, what was I talking about? I'm losing my train of thought. Oh, all this kind of new music is much better with earbuds or headphones. I had to get me a little water. Like, retro wave stuff sounds great on regular speakers. Often cheaper or lo-fi speakers, as it is inside the genre of sort of lo-fi music most of the time. So it sounds great on those. But the EDM and housey stuff, I feel like never sounds right unless you have like really nice speakers and you crank the volume up really loud, but then it's just like painful for your ears. So going for much lower volumes, I typically truly listen to music at the minimum volume of whatever headset allows or earbuds allow. But listening to those sort of songs at minimum volume in headsets is a very different experience, and a much better one in my opinion. So I've been thinking about sort of separating my music into radio ready or I'm potatoing, or like sort of a headset experience. There we go. We have one comment here. Cyber Griff just says, Trump. The whole stream is derailed now. Drifter's gonna go on a political rampage. Blah, 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 blah. Not yet. I realize my YouTube channel more or less looks algorithmically decoherent because I'm gonna have all this like science stuff. No, God Prime. The COD slide is absolutely not realistic to do in real life. I don't recommend it, especially if you're holding a firearm. Yes, dudes, I do listen to funk. Not as much when working out, though it often recommends that to me. I mostly listen to funk. My posture's not good. Mostly listen to funk. There's these like really neat YouTube videos. It'll be like Brazilian, Japanese, or Korean 70s funk. And it'll be like some guy in this really nice house. Always a lot of plants. I don't know what's with the plants. But just like beautiful indoor garden, just sort of mixing and DJing all these old soundtracks from like, you know, Vietnam in the 60s. Very cool. Very, very cool. These are a little bit trickier than they look because you got weights on your cankles. Lots of them need a proper headphone that has its tuning optimized for the genre. I have a collection of nice ones that are meant for that purpose with a proper amp. Yep, it's an expensive hobby. I agree. I agree, Hero Garrick. I find like I usually listen to music with my headphones just in normal mode, like flat, standard audio. But when I want to load up the EDM-y stuff, I swap it over to like bass boost. And it just makes more sense. Weirdly, even though you're boosting the bass, it makes it more palpable to my ears. Like I can actually listen to it louder with bass boost more comfortably and hear the voices better because I just assumed that the track was mixed with that in mind. No idea what sort of compressed audio I'm exposing myself. Actually, in that genre, I am probably getting more over compression than almost any other. So it's not great on the ears. I feel like I'm trying to kick the camera here. It's also making me feel a little self-conscious. It seems like I've been streaming for 50 minutes, and to be real, I feel like I haven't even started the actual workout yet. It's just been walking, talking, stretching, doing warm-ups, activating muscles, almost an hour in, and I'm not really like doing the weights and stuff. Kind of makes me worrisome because I'm getting tired. Hey Nerds with Guns, good to see you. Hey, Justin Jory says, excited for that IRL in-depth video. Thank you, I appreciate it. Hope a lot of you tune in. I hope it goes somewhere. It was very difficult for me to film. I almost got shot. Not by my crew, but one of the morons that rented the bays next door. I don't know if I told this on stream before. So filmed a gun range video. People in my range, very safe. The next bay over, there was some guy, some older gentleman, so we'll say boomer, will be a little derogatory, who discovered that when he shoots the duck pond with his AK-47, it makes a big splash. Somehow this guy had a full auto AK, I don't know, just did the paperwork or whatever. So at the range, you know, we're trying to film our video and I hear a lot of shooting in the other bay. I can't tell them to go stop shooting because it's range, right? My audio is just gonna be a little messed up. Then I just hear the owner screaming, "Get the F off my range!" and just kicks this guy out, comes to tell us the boomer wanted more splashes in the duck pond, so he would load a mag into his AK, put it in full auto, and go and just spray the pond to make big splashes. Owner found out and absolutely had a conniption fit, totally kicked that guy out. And I would say almost got shot because, again, when you're at a gun range, by the way, like let's say you have to keep your gun down the range. It doesn't point anywhere else. This guy was just like swinging the gun all around, so anyway. Yeah, Nerds with Guns. Binary trigger or bump fire? Neither. Neither, Keith. I'm happier one bullet at a time. I gotta conserve my ammo. I feel like I'm just as likely to hit with one bullet as I am with trigger or bump fire. I agree, Garrick. Yeah, people are insane. People are insane. Our crew tried to do everything right. And even, I'll be honest with you guys here in this chat, right? We filmed 8 hours on the range. We filmed about 12 guns. I think about 8 of them are gonna make the final edit because we had some failures along the way. I think we're keeping the Dragunov, even though it failed. There's an interesting thing about that. But was I gonna say? I'm so tired. I totally lost track of my thought. He might have had bump fire. I don't know. But anyway, oh yes. So over the course of my range day, I had a team of people that have all, myself included, spent a lot of time at ranges. We're very serious, very safe, very on top of things. We had mishaps. We had one barrel sweep incident because we're trying to get shots and filming. That's not great, but when you're filming, it's very different than a normal range trip. And the other one this is one I'll criticize myself for. I had a lot of unsafe firing. So if you think about, let's do a pistol, you know, pretty simple. You're out here, and if you're at a range, you're gonna plant your feet and just kind of try to hit your shots. Maybe if you're at a more advanced range, you'll run through and do the John Wick, like tactical based stuff. But that's all by yourself. Now, it's very different if you've got a gun and you can see the camera cannot be in front of you, because if the camera sees this, the camera person is dead. So the view has to be this. So I have to walk, like, yeah, you know, the Glock 19, blah, 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 it's 9mm, let's hold it and handle it perfectly, but not point it at the camera. All right, cool, now we take it off a safe, and we're gonna go bing, bing, bing. And what I had a tendency to do, because I'm used to narrating for Call of Duty, is I would line it up on the target and look at the camera and be like, it's very accurate, bing, and I'd hit the target. But I realized what I was doing is more like an irresponsible TV show host, because when you're firing a real firearm, you have to keep your eyes actually, for safety purposes, because you don't know what's going to come in front of it, or if your aim gets off or whatever the hell. And I find myself many times, because we're trying to do these like walk and talks, right? Especially with rifles. So we're out here, we're like, yeah, this is the AK-47. It's very, very cool. We pop off a few rounds, make it look cool. All right, now we got to go back and we got to walk again. I was really screwing that up. So I could have done better on that. We had plenty of safety issues without trying to blow up a duck pond, is a good way to say it. Hey, thank you, Jamal. I appreciate it. Don't worry, after this fun experience, I get to go give my blood to vampires. Ooh, Nerds with Guns says, what is your favorite rifle platform to shoot? Well, I have a new favorite. I used to like AR-15, and then I tried a G36. And then I like that better. After I tried the G36C, your conscientiousness is reassuring. Thank you. You have to be able to self-criticize and accept personal failures in order to grow and not repeat them. It used to be M16 that got replaced by G36. G36 got replaced by the AUG. Really liked the AUG. I thought that was going to be my go-to gun for life. And then, ladies and gentlemen, I got to fire a SIG 550, a real one from Switzerland. Like, oh, ha. For those of you that are gun nerds, you might know the SIG 550 as the auto sniper from Counter-Strike, or as one of the standard issue service weapons in the Swiss Army. Nerds with Guns says he has a 22, yep. Oh, that's very interesting, Hero Garrett. But the SIG 550, I'm gonna sound very hipster. I'm gonna assume not a lot of you have fired it. Only a couple hundred ever get imported to the US on any given year. The SIG 550 was worth the hype. People's like, oh yes, a $9,000 rifle, but it's worth it. I didn't believe that. I fired it, it's absolutely worth it. That gun is amazing. The British are still using the G36, Dennis? I didn't know that, man. I thought the British were all, God, I actually don't know. They had these L-series weapons for a long time, like the L81, but I don't know I didn't know what the police used. I've never seen British police have rifles. I always see their police like maybe with pistols or something. I heard their barrels become inaccurate when sustained full auto fire. The G36s, yeah, that can happen. Blackout 86 says, how are you measuring progress with your workouts? Are you actually getting stronger? Here's the answer. H&K 416 versus AR. I haven't fired a 416. Not recently enough to have an opinion. Did like years ago. I'm not measuring progress with the workouts. The only progress I'm measuring is my own experiential, if I feel better over a long course of time. Because Blackout, I'm not healthy enough yet. I'm trying to get into shape to get into shape. I can't chase the brawn because so many other things are malfunctioning. So what I'm measuring is, does this give me more energy to live my daily life? Can I stay out of the house longer? Can I make more videos? Can I game longer? Can I do more chores? Can I be a more normal person? So, oh yeah, nerds with guns. I'm not gonna shoot one of those. You're out of your mind. Oh, many use L85, okay. Good to know, Dennis. If you want opinions about submachine guns, I've shot a lot of those. I shot MP5, Strybogs, UMP45, P90. I got a ISO SMG, otherwise known as the, what's it called? The BNT, fuck. APC 9K. APC 9K. That's what I'm trying to think about. That one was really nice. I fired MP7, both the American rebuild of the MP7 and an original military full auto MP7. Fired a lot of sub guns. Those are just more my pace. They're easier. One of the things I hate though, is I hate just about any foregrip that's not vertical. Any of those angled grips, any of those like sort of short stubby ones, or the ones that are supposed to sort of like wrap on top of your fingers or something like that, absolute trash. I'm a huge fan of just standard vertical foregrip. I don't know why anybody wants anything different. It's baffling to me. Yep, Nerds with Guns says I have 3 MP5s, but I always go back to my BNT APC 9K. That gun is built different. That APC 9K is amazing. Had an opportunity to buy one recently, just, Keith says full-size Uzi. I heard they're super easy to control, slow rate of fire and heavy. Yes, I have fired a full-size Uzi. They are super easy to control. Rate of fire is not particularly slow. The heaviness makes it easier to control, so. Yeah, Uzis are great. There's a reason the angled ones look awful. It's not about looking awful, it's about like, so if you think about them, probably turn off the feet cam for a bit. You know, vertical foregrip on lefty, you just hold, just pushes back, right? A lot of these other ones I'll use like, there's like some sort of thing that hangs down and it's supposed to sit kind of on top, and you use like your, like almost like your knuckles or your hand is like a brace because it goes over. Maybe I just got weak hands, but I don't like that. Okay, well then, now it is time to do some of the squats. The 2 actual exercises we're going to do today will be the squats and the planks, and I will call it another easy day. As for the guy who's asking about my gains and how I'm measuring progress, got me feeling very self-conscious because the real answer is I am way behind on progress in many ways. I had, you can actually go back to episode 1. You can watch me work out like a lot more here and be a lot more energetic. Life has kind of come at me fast. Life has come at me very fast, and I'm spending so much of my time on doctor's appointments and meetings and travel, and I've got an elderly dog to take care of. I got all sorts of stuff going on that's making it harder for me to have the requisite energy to really push myself in the gym. You would say, well, you got to push yourself to earn those things, and that's true, but my body is forked up, so I'm on a very limited exercise budget. Like, I just literally don't have the energy that most of you guys do. Smoky Wendigo says, I prefer wood stocks over the folding stocks. You know. I'm glad that Just Jory also hates the non-vertical foregrips, right? I agree. I've got a lot of gun nerds in the chat, so these type of streams bring out like a totally different crowd than usual. Normally it's a lot of gamers, a lot of COD people, a couple of folks rolling in from PKA or like hater communities to talk smack. gaming content typically, but when I'm here working out, it pulls in professors, people with degrees, people working out, all the gun nerds. It's like a totally different crowd. You got scleroderma, dude. That's an MF, dude. I'm sorry to hear that. That's not good. Yeah, Keith. It's hard to get in like a good energetic workout if you got 3 doctor's appointments this week and you can only sit for 15 minutes at a time. Like, there's only so much energy you can have for this. I'm lucky the appointment I had today got canceled. I'm a huge FGC guy these days, but I originally found the channel back in the OG MW2 days. What's FGC? Smoky Wendigo? I don't know what FGC is. I'm going all full unk here. Boomer doesn't know, please educate. Somebody in the chat tell me? Yeah, Keith, so you know. Keith, you probably have a good perspective on just how much the grandpa workout here is taken out of me, even though it doesn't look like it. And for whatever reason, my condition prevents my heart rate from rising or me from sweating. So, oops. All of this workout time, I just hit 110. Like just now hit 110 heart rate. Everything else has been 80s to 90s, less maybe. But I have to work out really, really stupid hard to get over like 130, 140. And I don't sweat very much. I do sweat, don't get me wrong. You'll see me sweating in the gun range video, but yeah, see dudes, what you taught in the Army was right, but when your hands are made out of paper, it's a bad idea. Yeah, push the stock in your shoulder for sure. Sorry, Wendigo, they're auto ads. I don't know what YouTube is up to. Yeah, but Wendigo, what is FGC, man? Can you tell me what FGC is? I literally don't know. Ooh. I'm gonna order the thickest Korean barbecue I can get my mouth on. Dysautonomia, so my heart rate will blow up for no reason. I got it high as 162 while doing a long walk. Yeah, beta blockers. That's what they wanted to do to me. See, Keith, this is the crazy thing. Every disease that I got diagnosed with, every single one has a side note. Fighting gamer community. Ah, gotcha. Apologies, I didn't see it. I'm spacing out, Smoky Wendigo. I'm like, it's a whole different thing to maintain a conversation while working out. If you're a bigger dude, you'll have a lower heart rate, yeah. But like, okay, so the point is that the diseases I have, the beriberi, the BC, Bartonella, everything else, would typically indicate a very high heart rate. What you would see in a patient is somebody whose resting heart rate is probably closer to 100. A person who, when exposed to the slightest amount of heat, they get faint and their heart rate will just go way up, 150, 160. I do have a live heart rate monitor. It's right here. It's my Fitbit. All the stuff I have, I'm supposed to be heat intolerant and have a high heart rate. The reality is the opposite. I have a very low heart rate that's more difficult to elevate than it is for most people, and I'm cold intolerant. This room right here that I'm working out in is 76 degrees. The fan is off and I've ensured that there's no airflow because even a little bit of cold air will make me very sick. So again, I should have high heart rate and sweats, but what I have is super low heart rate and chills, and not a clear explanation as to why. Temperatures less than 73 degrees make me very, very sick. Like any air that like touches me that's colder than probably, you know, mid to low 70s feels like burning, just like cutting. My hands will get colder and they'll get slower and they'll kind of shrivel might be wrong, but all the veins will like shrink in, they'll change colors, they'll go Raynaud's. It'll start getting harder for me to breathe. Like cold weather annihilates me. What is weird about it though, is that it's worse in the house than it is outside. I think when I'm outside though, it's always walking, moving, like doing things, like being active, but in the house, you're just sort of sitting under the AC. Keith M says, that's a weird thing. My hypothalamus doesn't work properly anymore. So now I have an insane heat tolerance and poor cold tolerance. Hey, that's me. Walking 3 miles in flannel in 87-degree weather, no problem. Yeah, that's same with me. That's probably no problem. Dude, I get it. I've been trying to keep up with your medical updates. I'm just glad you're starting to get answers and an actual treatment plan. Well, thank you. Keith says, cold hurts like hell. Joint pain, Raynaud's. I've seen my hands become room temperature on the thermal imaging. Yeah. All that stuff. Brock Prime, the cold weather is very nice when you have a normal metabolism. There have been moments and days in my life where my metabolism was normal. Cold weather and normal metabolism is great. But I promise you, when you have an abnormal, when you cannot maintain heat, like you ever just like take your hand out of the glove and hold up and you feel that sort of coldness, and maybe, assuming you're normal, you'll feel like your fingers get real cold and stiff as they start to tighten up. My wife and other people describe me as a surface level feeling, that it's mostly the skin on top, maybe a little tighter on your joints because, you know, fingies are small. But for me, that same feeling of like the icy wind hitting your skin, I feel it all the way down straight into my bones, straight through the meat and everything. And it's not like I can just go get warm. There have been incidences where I would get very cold from weather exposure and come back in, put on multiple heating blankets, and I would still throw off more heat than the heating blanket can put in. Like whatever the temperature is outside, my body tries to become that. So keeping it warmer keeps me closer to my 98. Keeping it colder seems to drop my body temperature really fast. Sometimes it'll drop down to 95 for no reason. It's really crap. And Keith, I wish I took painkillers, but I don't. Painkillers would make my life easier, but I just try not to take them. Yeah, so Hero Garrick here is saying he's always warm, so prefers much cooler climates and temperatures, yes. Yeah, I'm the opposite. My favorite temperature for the house to be, I like about 78 degrees Fahrenheit. Up to about 80, probably 81 or 82 is getting a little toasty. So I will be 78 degrees Fahrenheit, no airflow, fully under blankets, and that's how I stay warm. Nothing else really does the trick. Stupid as that is. And I know it's stupid, guys. I know. I'm aware of how stupid it is. Brock, imagine if you washed your hands, which I would hope that you do sometimes. And you know, you wash it, maybe the water that comes out of the spout's a little cold, right? And it's on your hands for about 20 seconds. You wash it, you're done real quick. Now, Brock, imagine you do that and your hands just don't warm back up. Like, period. Like they just, whatever temperature that water is, that's what your hands become for like at least the next 3 hours. That's where I'm at. Dude, frostbite is super bad, Smoky Wendigo. I'm sorry to hear that. Okay, I am so petering out. Starting to get tired. What's my heart rate? Hey, I got it up to 120 finally. Yeah, it's probably not great if your state hits -20. It doesn't sound great, man. Let's see. Thank you, class. I appreciate it. That ought to be enough. All right, now we're going to swap to plankton. Dudeness, It's not about being strong, it's just that the painkillers don't work for me, not the way they're supposed to. And the side effects are worse than the pain, so it's, I believe, a practical decision and not one particularly reflective of my personal strength or willpower. Gotten hypothermia, but not frostbite. Hey, me too. Don't recommend it. What am I doing? Fuck, I'm trying to turn this camera off. Hold up, guys, I'll be back in a sec. I don't think we're doing this today. All right, little Cam, you're done. Little Cam, we're gonna put you back up in the wireless zone. I know I'm out of the room. There we go. I'll break wind in some other room so that it's not in there with me on the floor while I try to do planks. And what I originally intended to do was to come out here and get the grabby arm because I'm getting so tired. And I don't want to pick up the mat on the floor. Oh God. Smoking Wendigo says, I moved to Portland for a while, find the climate much better. That's good. Blackout 86 says, you guys are in tough shape. I come from Rube Farmers and haven't been to the doctor in 9 to 10 years. I have no major issues, but just do the wrong thing. Gin and beer. Grin and bear most issues. See, the difference is you didn't have a bad issue like, so for example, not Rube Farmers, but I grew up very, very poor in Mississippi, if that's what you're getting at. And I did not go to the doctor until something went wrong, but even as a child I had pseudotumors and pseudotumor cerebri, which was so rare they took me to the research hospital in the state capitol and had all the grad students study me because it's like so uncommon. Apparently it's a disease primarily for older, overweight, and or pregnant women, but I got it at age 9, which confused a lot of people. Ultram, okay, that's pretty reasonable, Keith. But like, that was a serious problem. And then I had serious psychiatric problems because I was seeing things that weren't real. And there's only so much of that farmer logic you can apply, and that's kind of what was going on with me, is that my parents wanted to do old school logic, like, you know, the kid is complaining about ghosts, well, the beatings will continue until there are no more ghosts. That sort of solution. But I think that unfortunately, I'm very much so a product of my genetics and environment. My genetics report, not particularly flattering. The environment I grew up in, I mean, I grew up, I'll say it like this, like, you're looking at a fetal alcohol syndrome baby, and a cigarette baby, and a cocaine baby, and a baby that almost died the first 2 weeks of being born, only to be put into an environment with no medical care, little to no nutrition, and pretty much constant beatings and psychological abuse for at least like 15, 16 years. Poisonings, accidents, handful of attempted murders, things like that. And when you grow up in an environment like that, you get bad results out. Like, you don't, there's not a future where you torture a kid every single day and make him sleep in his own excrement and stuff like that, and then get a perfectly healthy, happy adult. Yeah, dudes, narcotics don't really provide, they provide minor pain relief. I have never taken a painkiller that has provided me proper pain relief, like fully, where I can actually like relax and be normal. It just doesn't happen. To be fair, I haven't tried too many of the bigger kind of pills. Oh no, Blackout 86, I didn't escape. I continued to live there and got straight A's, got a college degree, eventually got out. It was a tough situation. It's a tough situation. You know, it's this hateful families, hateful, you know. It's something one of my doctors told me, like, I went in and, you know, my case is long and there's a bunch of bullshit on there. She puts it all away and looks and says, okay, serious question, this isn't about your medical stuff,
were you ever abused as a child? And I'm like, what the hell does that have to do with my hormones? And she's like, look, I've been doing this for 25 years. Almost every single time that somebody comes in with like really weird, bizarre labs and results like you have, they were abused as a child. And she's like, look, this isn't science. This is a whole MD. She's like, this isn't scientific, but I believe it just does something wrong to these kids' bodies and minds, and it's very difficult to fix, and it catches up to them when they get older. And she's just went on to elaborate that every patient she's had that was super complex was something like really weird like me. There was this history of child abuse that was really bad, often unreported in the labs or the intake paperwork. God, I'm getting tired here. I have to take a break after this one. The low back is giving out. Come on. Okay, we made it. I'm constantly humbled at all by you. Don't be Contractor X. Just because I can tell a sob story, don't be. Anybody can tell a dramatic story. But no, it's a product of your environment. So the area that I grew up in, aside from my family and my trauma, was very poor, very rural, very low education. It's the Mississippi Delta. It's where the movie Sinners took place. It's generally rated as one of the, like, I'm going to do some very small exercises here while I talk. Like, if you look at, like, top 10 worst places to live in the U.S., that's pretty much always going to be on the list. And it was an environment of, we valued pollution. I remember people were hoarding leaded gas because they liked it better. There were people making moonshine, and we'd drink out of water that came from lead pipes. They'd dump like industrial waste right into the water that would go into the crops. No nutrition. It was somehow, even though we were farming, it was a food desert. So there was a lot of packaged goods and stuff. A lot of fast food. This is very small exercise. It just moves my midsection a little bit. Blackout. No need to argue with people like that. And he was well-meaning. We don't need to start. Everybody here is well-meaning. I don't have any problems with anybody or any of their comments. Y'all just chill. The environment with limited medical care, limited doctors. Like, there's like 5 doctors in town, and they all know each other. They all talk and break HIPAA. So if you like go to one doctor and tell them your problem, everybody will know. It's a place where most kids start drinking at 12 or 13. Like, I grew up around endless amounts of secondhand smoke and just, bad stuff. The point that I'm getting toward is the environment that I grew up in was very toxic. I don't mean that emotionally. I mean it like more in like an objective. It was just toxic waste and shit around. And every single person, with one exception, there's one exception, but of the couple hundred people that I know about my age that grew up in that town, every single one of them has unusual health problems, with the exception of one person who only spent like 8 years there. But everybody else is like way messed up. Not the same as me. It's all different stuff, which is wild. Dallas Rocker 124 says, "Yo Drifter, I've been subscribed to you since you dropped that SAR Bomba video on Machinima in 2011. I just hope you're doing better. You did a meet and greet in 2013 in Arlington, and I met you there. Yeah, at Panda Delight, the Chinese restaurant. It's a fun meet and greet. You about the one where I like passed a kidney stone at the end and had to go to the ER? It was wild times. Wild times. Well, I'm just laying on the floor, but my heart rate's going back down to 90. Well, thank you. Proud of me. I have mixed feelings about that. I think it's sort of a creative mindset of always wanting to do, like I've achieved some certain things in my life, but you always want to achieve more, Keep that goal on the horizon. Thank you, Dudesnus. You have a great day too. Hard to read it from here. Yeah. I've done some things, but you can't be like All right, cool. You hit 1 million subscribers on YouTube. You're done achieving things. You got to go for the next, and not necessarily numerical next, but you got to have something to work towards. So I don't spend a whole lot of time sitting back and be like, yeah, I did this and I did that. I was sponsored by this guy and I did that thing. So I try to keep a more forward-looking mindset. Okay. This is fun. I really would love a big, fat stack of pancakes today. That is not what I need to eat because I ate a fat stack of cookies this weekend that I should not have eaten to begin with, but I did because I had a really tough, hard, stressful week, and I wanted some gosh dang cookies. I'm wobbling too much. All right, focus on the technique. Okay, 30 seconds in. Good Lord, I got one more set of this to do, I think, and I'll be done. Because you're sensational. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate it. Oh, you don't have to delete any messages, man. I think this is a very wholesome kind of place here. We're at. Oh, what is Heart doing there? 115. Wow. Was it macadamia nut cookies? No. It was peanut butter chocolate. Max Shotgun says, I've been subscribed since COD Ghost. Would have loved to catch a meet and greet. Oh no, who's calling me? Who's calling? Hello? Oh, hi. I'm doing all right. Yeah, I think that's going to be what we're looking at. I'm not going to make it to my next appointments for at least 3 months, so we'll look at something like that. All right. Let's do late September. I actually have a very important follow-up scheduled on the 16th of September. That's perfect. No, oh no, 8:40. That's miserable. I'm like questionably employed. Let's do like 1 p.m. I'll be awake for that. All right, thank you. Sorry, everybody, that was scheduling my follow-up surgical consult. My case is weird, so there's a lot of steps and stuff. Okay. Yee, pancakes, yeah. What do you got? Are you going to be on a guest on PKA again soon? Probably not. I think I'm like I'm one of their more challenging guests. Honestly, last time I was on PKA, I was a little bit belligerent about getting to say things. I don't want to get emotional, but I thought you deserved to know. Well, thank you. Yeah, no. PKA is more, I just don't think they're looking for me as a kind of guest, and I don't really appeal to their audience other than as a, Roger that. I'm almost certainly going to have to re-edit the video anyway, so I'll take a moment to patch up that spot. Sorry for the crazy text. Android has terrible text-to-speech. All right, we have a requested change to the gun range video. Calcium sulfate, hello, good to see you. Remember your mixed height video did? How does height affect your relationship these days? Actually, more than it did then. Right? I agree, verbose toast. I feel like those guys need to get challenged more. One thing I do think I do a bad job on PKA is presenting my arguments, because I know I'm going to get cut off in like 30 seconds or less. So when I'm like arguing with Taylor about something, I just feel this pressure to just spit out facts as fast as possible in the little 15 seconds that I've got before everybody else joins in. So it just comes like no planning, no preparation. It just comes out like very sloppy and Reddit brained, honestly. Oh no, that's not supposed to be gunship. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Oh, it's not supposed to be that either. Nope, not this. Not this. Okay. I have to turn the music off. Well, I probably got a strike for that one, boys. God dang it. I streamed for too long and I got a strike. That's gonna hurt my channel. I hate that. I hate that. That's very annoying to me. Okay, let me do my last bit of planks here. I streamed for too long and the autoplay took me some other direction. Dang it. Played a bunch of copyrighted music while I was not paying attention. And now something like a mistake like that actually hurts the gun range video, which drives me bananas. So easy to make a mistake. My mistake was my music video was longer than my workout, and it just went to autoplay in the same genre, so I didn't even notice that it changed. Okay, that's a good enough plank. It's very annoying. Honestly, it's been hard to believe. I've been watching you since like 2012, 2013, dude. It's been hard for me to believe I'm alive since then. Glad to see you play the finals. Have a good workout. Thank you, man. Could you ever see yourself training a Shiba Inu to be an attack dog, like a ghost kill streak? That was one of my recommendations to Call of Duty when I went to the studio, is that they should have skins for the dogs, different breeds of dogs that attack, including funny ones. It does proc, but you know that's how YouTube is. Rules are very dumb. And Mega Simon Jr. says, you offer your opinion on PKA, but also know how to be comedic about it when it needs to be. Not every guest can do that. Well, thank you for the compliments. I appreciate that. As long as it edited out, it should be fine, right? I'll try to fix it in post. There are tools for that. Catching up on older episodes and really enjoy when you come on. Yeah, you can watch my PKA appearances get increasingly like unhinged as the health problems get bad. You know, the wolf skin. I remember that one. More funny ones and not the wolf skin. All right, guys, well, we've streamed for an hour and a half today. I've done a very long workout, actually. I'm going to go try to get a little rest and relaxation in before I let the vampires at Quest Diagnostics take my blood. PM9, dang, yeah, Rapid Fire was hilarious. Black Ops 2, heck yeah. All right, guys, this is where I'm going to dip. I'm going to try to figure out what's going on with this video and or the strike situation, and get my blood drawn, and I will catch you guys later. Drifter out, and where is the end stream button here?